This perfect draft. Well, let's see what he is actually cooking up for us here as we dive into the draft for game number 1.
Now, when I mentioned the Tristana Merchants thing earlier, I was referring to people saying, like, they're not great at, they're weaker mid laners, getting a lot of value out of Tristana, selling the idea of the champion. Bulldog was one of the OGs. Chovy has not played a single game of Tristana this season. It's been banned against him a majority of the time. He's preferred the Corki, which is his most played champion this season. So we'll see if that does affect how Kwangdong Freaks approach this draft. The Zyra, I think, a very intelligent ban.
Yep. Definitely one that Canyon has put in a fair bit of work on. Nidalee going to follow suit, and we are heading into some weird territory because there are a lot of things that aren't going to be banned because Nidalee and Zyra have both been taken away. Yeah,
the Callista is definitely going to be up. I don't know if that's something that GENG is going to prioritize highly. The Rumble should be banned in this final spot here for Kwangdong Freaks. We'll see if they want to ban the Corki and look for a Tristana. The Sejuani, the highest non-AP jungle pick right now, is one that they could also look to take away. They'll ban the Tristana. We may have a bit of a trade here, but if you ban 2 AP junglers and trade the AD bans, it feels like you wasted 2 bans as Kwangdong Freaks, so a bit awkward here.
Yeah, and it's also
a bit ban Rumble.
It's a bit strange as well because Canyon has a very extensive list of AP junglers that he can play. Of course, didn't quite work out on the Karthus more recently, but has certainly been one that he's been able to jump back towards. The Rumble, of course, is going to be taken away.
Feels like a Sejuani angle, but they're going to take the Corki instead here. Chovy just loves the Corki. He has been playing it.
Yeah, he is pretty good at it.
He's been playing it almost exclusively, it feels like, here in the LCK. For context, this is his 10th game of Corki.
My goodness.
And he has 2 games of Lucian, 2 games of Play, 1 game of Yone. Yep. Those are the other champs he's played.
That's a lot of, a pilot guy.
He liked to play Corki a lot, the old Corki. That was one of his most played in many seasons, but this season it's the different and new and better Corki, and he's winning on it a lot. Ezreal will be pushed up here for Leaper, and it looks like we're going to see that potentially Ezreal Leona rotation here. Don't know what the jungle pick is just yet. The Vi is still available.
Vi Sejuani, in fact. Both of them are up.
I feel like you can, go for the Leona pick here because you know that it's less likely that it's going to be a Vi on GENG's side because they have the Corki pick.
Yeah, and you may not necessarily want to pick the Sejuani if they're going to pick the Vi into it. Denting blows can be a little bit annoying to deal with.
Exactly.
Like that. Hard to, stop her from engaging on your team when she's unstoppable. As Sejuani for Canyon is going to be a consideration at least at this point in time after the Renekton is locked in for Dudu. Does that mean that now we get the Keen lock in? The answer is probably not, as Chovy's hovering the Zeri.
I think Keen just has too many things he can play. There's so many, his champion pool is so massive that you don't need to lock something up like a Jax right now, or if he was going to play Yone top, which I don't think he will. I don't think you need to do that here. It reveals too much. Getting the Zeri to match scaling is going to be the way. We knew it was either going to be something like a Zeri, or it was going to be a hard-pushing bottom lane. Now, this could, in theory, be top Zeri, but it's probably not going to be the case. As they'll just grab the Vi here anyways. Strong in the Sejuani, as you mentioned, and this may pull some bans where GENG are like, okay, we got to ban the Taliyah. We have to ban the Ahri. They might feel a little bit concerned about that, but pivoting to Viego.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Cuz pick, right? Like, he is phenomenal on this champion, but Vi does a lot of great things into what GENG were showing at that point in time. And like you say, unlocks the Taliyah option. I really think for some reason that Ezreal's going mid lane. I don't know. I just feel like he is. I don't know why.
I mean, it's not impossible.
And then they're just going to run like some crazy casters in the bottom lane. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's just Taliyah Pantheon. Maybe we see Taliyah locked in Leaper's spot, and then hard slam R5 Pantheon, and we're straight back to it.
It could be Ziggs.
2019 Finals, Wolf.
It could be Ziggs mid, it's not impossible.
True. And, this is Bulldog. He is a Ziggs guy.
Yeah, I do think it's possible, but Kazante's going to get banned here. The Azir is the obvious AP mid that we see all the time when the AD jungler is locked in. That's a pretty basic one. Also great engage, good into the Corki, and a lot of skirmishing power where Zeri is going to be strong there too to try to be able to punish her, fight for grubs and stuff like that when you hit 6. So pretty easy ban there. Now the next one is a little bit trickier. If you ban the Hui here, I think it's a strong ban into Bulldog, and Bulldog, has loved to play this into the Corki specifically. but I don't know if it really fits their comp. I like the Braum ban actually a lot more because it's really strong into Sejuani, really strong level 1, and just gives Ezreal all of that extra added safety.
Yep. Ooh, Leona could just be locked in, and then he can flex Ziggs for the rest of the game. Because it's not likely that GENG are going to pick it up because they have Zeri and Corki already.
Yeah, unless the Zeri is going top, which again is not likely.
Yeah.
Really tough to play that one into Renekton. And they are just going to go for the Hui.
Okay.
The boring pick, but it is a wise one.
Oh, no, never mind.
Okay.
The Flex is still alive.
You really want this to happen.
I'm really invested. I'm actually overly invested, and it's probably not going to happen either.
I don't think it's going to happen, but, you know, it might.
And it's also Ezreal Leona. It's a pretty good lane for that bottom side. I don't know why my brain's telling me that Ezreal is going to go into the mid lane.
So, it's just Nautilus?
Yeah, I mean, GP we just found out that GP's a champion again in our previous series, and so that one's going to be locked away for Keen, one of our greatest Gangplank players across many years of play. Of course, Keen has a very storied history.
Yeah, it was definitely being played in scrims. It was hovered a lot in EWC. Rakan is going to be the option here. So there's a lot of setup for these GP barrels and the Corki damage here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not the greatest chain CC setup for a Sejuani ult, for example, but still going to be quite powerful, as the Hui, I think, is what Bulldog is asking for. It's been a pick that he's super comfortable on, and is going to outrange the Corki, eventually going to be able to help clear those waves and start to win the lane. Can be tricky in the first few levels, but it's a good matchup into the Corki. So you have really nice engage, and you have blow up here as well for Kwangdong Freaks. Like, if you end up hitting a Solar Flare, you Zenith Blade in, the Ezreal Burst comes through, the Hui Burst comes through, something like a Gangplank is going to be in a lot of trouble. My biggest issue, though, with Kwangdong Freaks' comp is the only way you can catch this Zeri is if a Leona gets on top of her, or a Renekton gets on top of her, or like a little mini Viego stun gets in there. She's otherwise extremely free to just fly around the team fight, and there's not a whole lot of ranged lockdown. Like, Solar Flare is so difficult to catch Zeri with that I just feel like FaZe is going to have the freest time when we get to team fights. Their comp scales incredibly well, and Chovy's best pick of the season so far has been the Corki, so it doesn't get much better for this for GENG.
It doesn't, and it's Chovy not up against a Tristana as well, doesn't have to worry about that one. Certain mid laners running off and destroying all of his inner turrets while he's busy trying to play the game. Won't have to worry about it. Hui not necessarily going to be chunking those down necessarily. I do kind of like what Kwangdong Freaks have put together, but I wanted them to cook more. I wanted to see weirdness. CV Max sometimes delivers on that front. Did not necessarily this time. It's going to feel like a lot more of an honest game of League of Legends between these two squads, and I worry for Kwangdong Freaks because I just don't necessarily think that they're as good as GENG right now. That's no shade. That is just, it's just GENG. They're pretty good at the video game. See whether Dudu on this Crocodile is going to be able to get it done, though, as we jump onto the Rift for game number 1. Kwangdong Freaks taking on GENG. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Very color coordinated as far as the skin choices here on the side of the Kwangdong Freaks. I do really like that. Maybe I'm coming around, Wolf.
It is. It's a good start, you know. Makes you feel good when your champions walk down that mid lane.
You got to look cool, you know. You got to imagine all of the 5 champions walking out in slow motion, you know, like in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And if you feel cool imagining that, then you've chosen the right team composition.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just how it goes. I'm pretty sure that's just how it goes.
I am really, of all these matchups, like we've seen the Zeri Ezreal explored, right? We know what Hui and Corki looks like. We've seen Sejuani into Viego 1,000 times, but it's been a long time since we've seen. Okay, I'm gonna hold my thought on this, as they're on a ward, so.
This could be a grand entrance angle, as I think everyone knows that everyone's here. Andil is going to face check, and then we are going to have it just be backing away, so you can continue.
Yeah, so I was just going to say it's been a while since we've seen GP Renekton. Used to see it a lot. Used to be extremely common, a matchup that goes both ways, just like the Gnar matchup we had earlier. You know, it's counter-picked into Gnar a lot of the time. As yeah, level 1 is definitely not good for the Hui. But how it's going to play out in this game as well, with Keen being such a storied Gangplank player himself, is...
The old Gatling gun face your opponent and just do pain at him is it's a tough one.
He's doing the Corki level 1 thing where he does that. He presses E and he kind of aims the cone towards the enemy champion. Corki's getting a bit of a tap on the next patch in terms of his health. So it looks like it's just going to be Tristana only for a little while, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, next patch. I mean, Tristana's getting a little tap as well. Something about mana, I think.
Yeah, her mana, she's getting more mana, but then her Q is going to cost 50 mana. So basically, it's not really going to take her out, I don't think. We'll see, but
I still think the best way is probably banning in the next patch. Maybe, maybe we're going to go for the patch afterwards. I think there are some other cool things, but I don't tend to look at patches until they're actually in the LCK.
So the Korean casters wanted to watch the Hui matchup first, then talk about the Renekton GPs. Now we're panning up. So I kind of talked about Renekton GP over the Hui getting Gatling gunned, and then the window was a little missed. But
I mean, we do know the Hui Corki matchup. We've seen that one quite a few times so far. Yeah, I think the Renekton Gangplank, that's the most fun. Because, you know, if this was a few weeks ago, we'd have Skarner Cassante in the top lane. So we need to actually, like, I feel like maybe we're being rude. As we've got a bit of a fight here towards the bottom side. Pace taking a fair bit of damage. Canyon gets here in the nick of time, though, as the burst fires not necessarily all landing, but there's the dash forward. Canyon, can he find it? Undil, that's going to be the sidestep. Canyon trying to get after them. They get a couple of flashes out of the bottom lane of the Kwangdong Freaks. No first blood just yet.
And they know that Cuz is topside, otherwise he definitely would have shown up for this play. They had a lot of vision set up initially as well. Cuz is here, the ward is set for Keen, and there's just not much they could do here. They could try to force this. Dudu's got Rage.
Well, Dudu's gonna come on over. They do manage to get the flash out with the oranges, as Dudu getting a little bit in danger.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for the side of Kwangdong. This is the cross-map attempt they were going to go for, and it does not go well. So 2 flashes down bottom side for 1 flash top, but it's a flash on the GP that has that extra safety in this matchup with the oranges. So feeling like a big trade-up for the side of Kwangdong Freaks, or sorry, for GENG. And mentioning also that Ezreal is significantly behind in farm in this lane matchup as well. Definitely not ideal.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. I mean, Gangplank is relatively gankable if you know you can get rid of, there's a couple of stuns, you know? As Trial by Fire is actually now on Dudu, who's going to try and walk this one off. Arctic Assault not going to connect as there's the flash out, and so Dudu is going to have to use his flash as well. Successful gank there from Canyon.
That was really well handled by Dudu. A little bit lucky as well, the Arctic Assault not going to connect there, but still gets out of there just in the nick of time. Could have been much worse. You know, without actually explaining, like, okay, barrels happen and you walk at the Renekton, all this stuff. The matchup can be so flippy, though, where if the Renekton gets ahead, he just runs down the GP, and vice versa. The GP gets ahead, the Renekton can't get close. As Cuz is over here.
Yeah, Lahen's in position, though. Spots out exactly what's going on here. And Chovy knows that he's now got a free lane. We'll be able to put this Phosphorus Bomb down on top of these minions. And I was actually thinking that Keen might try to go for the Tabis pretty quickly. The Steel Caps, just because it is double physical on the top side with the Viego and the Renekton. So a fair bit of value there with those shoes. But Sheen, just basically a must-buy as the first back. So hopefully Keen is going to prioritize those boots. For that, he's just going to make sure that he gets, you know, the Gangplank classic first item.
Bulldog going to lose a significant amount of farm here. Chovy has a massive lead already.
Yep. At least the cannon was there, so doesn't actually miss out on too much.
Yeah, but he lost farm earlier. Cannon gonna, you know, mean that he can get majority of this farm here. We'll get basically all of it. But Chovy just really crushing the lane so far. As you know, Chovy's the guy who hard wins against Tristana with Corki right now in this meta. He is he's not really losing to anyone. Has a good early game. Already has his Merc Treads picked up here now as well. And is just going to continue to put that pressure on, grab the tier there as well, so he can start stacking up mana to be even more annoying later on. This little Yordle.
And having a look back towards that top lane, that Sheen looks to be doing work there as Dudu was looking a little bit worse for wear. That is going to be Drake traded for some grubs. Kwangdong Freak's going to be able to lock that one down. Viego with the help of his Crocodile. As now there's rockets as well. Bulldog was struggling with all of the other things that the Corki could do, and now has to worry about even further away stuff happening as Pei's going to skate on over. That's going to be the knock-up onto Andil. And no more Aftershock and no more Eclipse, but it's going to be enough. And he walks it off. engaging onto a Leona, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, you know, Andil did use his stun onto Pays right away there, which was a little bit concerning as Dudu.
Oh, try by fire. That is a lot of damage. Passive of Gangplank. That's the thing. That's the thing you got to worry about. Just does loads of damage.
If you get slowed as the Renekton and you need to get out, you're, you know, often at risk as, Keen.
All right, the Crocodile is coming back, and Keen is going to say, oh yeah, that's bait.
Yeah, Dudu has no flash. He knows it. There's no way that he would walk up like that. There's just no reason. It's 100% a good read from Keen.
Yep.
Playing respectfully here.
This is Tom Hardy Gangplank up there towards the top side. He's very well aware.
Yes.
Going to be able to get the vision down now as well, so he's making sure that everything's all right. Lahen's poking his head in. Actually gives away his position here, so it does give Andil the go-ahead to get out of the bottom lane if he would like to. Currently right now just holding onto a wave, I believe, just making sure that Leaper is going to be able to get all that farm when he does make it back to lane.
Lahen's just going to come up here and collect some support gold, help Chovy push this in and grab a plate.
Yeah, it's
like it's crazy how much Chovy wins lane on Corki, because we know Corki is now a lane bully, right? He's one of those AD mids that can shred your resistances. Even on this patch where he was slightly nerfed, he was even stronger before, believe it or not. He just wins. He gets a big advantage, But this level of advantage, like 15 CS up, forcing backs just straight up from Gatling gun and harass, is something that really only Chovy has been able to do so far this LCK on the pick.
Yep,
it's beautiful to watch. I mean, Bulldog's a great mid laner in his own right, but Chovy is just owning him.
And this was a pick that we saw a lot of mid laners actually find a lot of value in, as Chovy's just, standing his ground and doing shooting, but he might be in trouble here as the ulti's going to go wide, but that's only because of the flash. Nicely played there from Bulldog, as Pays is ulting here on this bottom side as well. Now Lahen's, can he actually catch up and keep them in position as the Glacial Prison goes a little bit wide? We're going to head back towards its bottom lane as Lahen's is lit on fire. And now, here in the mid lane, a slowdown, Cannon Barrage, there's the turn, Canyon looks for the Permafrost and gets it! Cuz wants to be able to possess the Sejuani though, and is going to be able to do it. It's a 1-for-1 in mid, first blood going to GENG.
Yeah, GENG picking up the first kill, but on the other side of things, it's at least a trade back by Cuz, but definitely big favoring GENG. They end up getting the first blood as well. As we'll go back to this moment here, as Cuz is just, he knows that Canyon's there, but Canyon gets over the wall first. This misses. It could have been even worse here for the side of Kwangdong Freaks, but Canyon knows he can stick around. And Cuz is going left. Canyon's flashing on Bulldog. If Cuz actually stays closer to Bulldog here, then this play doesn't really become possible, but he does end up kind of pushing Chovy away. Chovy's ranged, so it doesn't matter about that, or doesn't care about that. And back to neutral up here on the top side. GENG, a small lead. That's a significant pick. Chovy actually not picking up the assist there as well in mid. It was only Keen who got that with the Cannon Barrage.
Yeah, mainly just Canyon jumping his way forward. And Chovy, you saw like the call was Canyon was going in to die. Like he's going to trade 1-for-1. And Chovy, just make sure that you don't die as well. Stick around in the lane. That is going to equal a 20 CS gap now, as another wave is going to fall by the wayside. And Dudu is sort of realizing that Crocodile into Pirate, even though in Peter Pan, Captain Hook very scared of crocodiles, Gangplank is not Captain Hook, and therefore not as scared of crocodiles. As Lahen's is going to be able to grand exit. Of course, it's not necessarily the crocodiles, is it? It's the clock that the crocodile ate. Because Captain Hook, it's the beautiful metaphor of being an adult and being scared of time and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, GENG going to be able to start off these grubs.
I got nothing.
I often think about Peter Pan,
I never really thought about that, actually, the clock metaphor.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful...
We'll come back to that in a little bit.
Yeah, we can get back to it. And maybe the space can break it down. If there's not as many highlights in this particular game, maybe they can have a philosophical discussion for us.
Well, they are going to get these grubs. No pickup here for Kwangdong Freaks on the back of this one. And, this does even it out 3-3 in terms of grubs, so neither team having a big edge there. There's no Tristana in this game, there's no Ziggs in this game, so it's not going to be as big value as it often has been on this patch here in the LCK, or previous patch. And GP now going to keep the wave away from the Renekton. Very frustrating here for Dudu. It's actually deciding not to back, and it gets an instant question mark ping as well, going, maybe he's freezing because Canyon's coming in. Well, you'd be right about that.
He would. Canyon doesn't have a Krug camp to head towards.
Like, Dudu can't play the game. Like, look at Dudu. He's like,
yeah.
I can't play the game. I can't do it. I don't know where they are.
This is
Canyon's on the other team.
This is as much playing the game as he's allowed to do at this point in time.
He's like, I can't back. I can't farm. I can't do anything.
Wait. Is it even, like, he had to just slice to get into experience range, I'm pretty sure, as Teleport is going to come in. And GENG, they're looking for the dive. Archgasalt is going to connect here onto Dudu. Cannon Barrage comes on through as well. And Chovy, after teleporting in, is going to be able to help grab that kill as well. And Keen, he wants even more. Trial by Fire comes down, lights Bulldog on fire, and there's nothing he can do. Double kill for the Gangplank. And it makes me feel like already the Gangplank's completely out of control.
It's out of control. It is now, and it was already a problem. The Renekton into GP matchup, you know, if you make a mistake as the GP, the Renekton can get ahead and run you down, but usually you need jungle help. As Cuz, I don't know about this.
Well, let's see whether he can get this one done, as Keen's going to eat some oranges and has to flash to get out of the Heartbreaker. Very nicely done. Is he out of the woods just yet, though, is the question. As the charge up, there's the flash forward, and Cuz is going to be able to get the kill. So nicely done there to get something back for the Kwangdong Freaks.
Yeah, that's really important there. It's not enough to make up for the loss on the top side there and the expansion of the TP from Bulldog as well, but it definitely is something. I mean, now he's got 2 kills on the Viego. Yep, both of Kwangdong's kills are in his hands, and he has done a lot of great things with carry Viego when he does get the gold. Dudu also going to be able to come back over here, grab some plate gold himself because of that delayed death on Keen. He can TP back in now, but it's so late that the Renekton does get some value. So it's quite significant, actually, that Cuz is able to flash for the kill there.
It's the whole wave that Keen just lost, cannon and all. So we're going to check out this dive once again.
It's so crazy that Chovy's like, all right, I TP in. We also, if I TP, we get both Bulldog's TP and 2 kills. It's like, yeah, because otherwise, what do you do is Dudu in this case, he already had to like not play the game, and then he's like, oh, okay, they're diving me, and then Bulldog comes over, he's like, I got you, man. Oh, you don't got him. You're also dead. Your TP is gone. And Chovy just makes it happen, and then over here, Keen plays this incredibly well, flashes the Heartbreaker, but now he doesn't have flash, Cuz just gonna get as close as he can here, buffers this with the flash into the stun, takes him out, becomes GP for a minute, but shuts him down so that the Renekton can get that gold, deny that farm.
Owie! That's a barrel. That one hurts. Parlay comes on through. Parlay is technically like a nice term, isn't it? It's like, I wanna converse with you, let's make a deal.
Yes.
Not a great name for just shooting someone, I don't think.
Yeah, but it says R. It has R in it, Atlas.
Sorry. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, that's the pirate thing where you go R and you make R jokes. That's what Riot had in mind about.
Yeah.
Come on, Atlas, it's not that hard.
I missed that part, I think, of it all. Maybe it's an Australian thing. It's okay. Canyon is going to crash Shelly towards that top lane. That is going to mean first Horror Blood does go over to GENG. Kwangdong Freaks going to try and punish this, though, as Canyon and Chovy trying to get their way out. They know that help was on the way, as now they engage onto the Frost Armor and the Aftershock of Canyon. Means that I don't know whether they want this, even though the Grasping Maw does come down. True Shot Barrage laid on top, and Canyon just walks it off.
He's just
fine.
His damage taken stat.
All right, a few buttons going missing as Pays is here. All right, and now we're certifying the Zeri. It is going to be the kill first going over to Sejuani, but then Pays gets 1-0-1 now. Not necessarily end of the world Zeri moment or anything like that, but it's still 5-2.
I'm not going to certify it, but I will say it was a pretty great play from Pays because there's no inherent risk knowing he has cleanse there. He could just go straight on top of Leona, does not care, and now Dudu is alone.
Oh dear, maybe he's a handbag. Grand Entrance does come on through there as Dudu. Still relatively tanky. There's a fair bit of rage here, and does also have the Dominus, so that's why they're not going to hard commit to this.
Yeah, just going to frustrate him a little bit. And the health trade is definitely worth it, as Keen didn't take any damage. Dudu lost half his health bar. Now he can keep putting the pressure on, go towards Dragon. As unfortunately for Kwangdong Freaks, as proactive as this play is, Chovy's Valkyrie is really good. And the Aftershock, like you said, just absorbs everything, and he just tosses the ult into Cuz. I mean, the layering of everything there was so perfect for Canyon, and he just trades half his health bar for a win in the team fight. Then Pays shows up here as a control ward here in the pit, so he knows they don't know. And he's got cleanse, so there's just no risk to this play whatsoever.
I've never thought about maximum Winter's Wrath value.
Yeah, but that was it.
I just did then. Yeah, so that's thanks, Canyon, I guess. definitely did as much as possible for the Sejuani to do. As Keen throws a barrel towards Bulldog, and Bulldog's like, oh, dude, this is what you've been dealing with. This is annoying. And I think we'd all agree, as now Leaper fighting against Pays, but Pays and Lehens. Grand Entrance does come on through. Pays can't actually close the gap as they're fighting on top of the Cannon Barrage, and there goes Lehens. Really good timing for Cuz.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous there on Lehens, but Leaper Flash and Cleanse gets out. True Shot Barrage, left me a little bit wanting, but otherwise, with the team rotating over, Leaper does end up trading that one back. It's a third kill for the Viego, though. It doesn't go over to the Ezreal, but at least he cashed in his call. So has a decent amount of money in his own pockets. Doesn't have the same amount that Pays has, but he's in a really good position here. Teleport should deny the turret take. Dude is just going to come over here and clean this one up. As Dragon is live, and it's a Hextech, so we haven't really spent that much time talking about this. Amazing for Genji's composition. Decent for Quantum Freaks as well. This is a really important Dragon.
Ezreal with Hextech Soul, yeah, absolutely terrifying. As Genji not wanting to give this one up. And they have really infiltrated the enemy backline here. Quantum Freaks realizing that they're not exactly in the most comfortable of positions, and Canyon sitting like a sniper, ready to throw out the Glacial Prison. Let's see whether he's found Leaper and Cuz here. He absolutely has. Rocket comes in, and did he last hit him with a Glacial Prison? That's one way to do it. Pays is going to be able to pick up a kill here as well, and Quantum Freaks, oh no! The House of Cards is just toppling! Lehens even picks up a kill with a Q. It's just weird ways to get kills day here for GENG. As Dudu, he's running underneath the inner turret, and it's all falling apart around him.
Yeah, it's a disaster here. Leaper having no summoners after that previous play was really what did him in. Canyon's like, he's got no sums. We find the Ezreal, we kill the Ezreal. He's only got one Arcane Shift. He's not going to be able to do anything after that. They just find him and take him out at the beginning of the fight. There's no damage here on the side of Kwangdong Freaks. As Leaper aggressively trading here, baiting because he knows Andal is nearby. He also knows that his jungler is coming up. And he is able to use both summoners to escape there and then help trade back the kill. Kill goes to Cuz. And then watch this
looked
from
like
Canyon.
he was avoiding the Cannon Barrage for a second there.
Look at this. He's just like, all right, he used his E. Get him. He's got no sums. And, I'm not going to say anything about him stealing the kill with the Glacial Prisoner. I'm going to get Yankos on my mentions, but, at the end of the day, still, a kill's a kill, okay? A dragon's a dragon. We'll
100%. And, like, you got to just do it. And the fact that Canyon and Chovy just pick off the straggling members of Kwangdong Freaks, like, Kwangdong Freaks were in setup mode, right? They were in, we're going to approach this fight from this angle. We're going to try and get here for this, to do this. And GENG are like, well, they're going to try and group, and they're going to try to contest for this Drake. And so, therefore, we're going to catch them while they're attempting to do that. And it just kind of pulled them apart. Dissected the Kwangdong Freaks before they could even start to go for any sort of honest fight.
Yeah, it was just straight up clean. Like GENG knowing the game state, knowing the lack of summoners, Canyon, as tanky as he is speaking of.
He's going to headbutt the wall and then flash over it. So, there's ups and downs.
Ups and downs indeed, but really trying to push that advantage. He had his flash up, and it was safe.
Yeah. As Lehens unable to stop the back there. But still, GENG in full control. Baron has just spawned about 15 seconds ago. Hex Gates can be employed. As Kwangdong Freaks coming back onto the map as Leaper, Arcane Shift now on cooldown. The flash is still down from before, and he's dead again. Andil also going to most likely follow suit as there's a flash forward. Not scared of the Cannon Barrage anymore is Pays. Maybe it's just been a while since Cannon Barrage has been in the game. Like it's been a year since Doran played it that last time.
It's scary, man. I mean, he just doesn't want to get hit by it. I understand.
Yeah. He definitely wasn't scared of it that time.
No. 4-0-2 on the Zeri now. Pays is 2 levels up on Leaper, who unfortunately has just been pushed out of the game twice.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about the certification moment, but I think it happened at some point.
It definitely, it was a slow burn, but she's well and truly 2 items now, probably going to be 2.5 after this Baron take. As he just goes in, it's actually Zeri who slides in onto the Ezreal, it's an engage from Lehens, and it's not the first time we've seen Leaper caught out like this. I feel like it is interesting, and it's a good talking point that it's taken a team like GENG to punish some of the inexperience of Leaper as a pro player here in the LCK, coming in as a streamer, right, having a ton of solo queue experience. The coordination that you're seeing from GENG, just punishing him for having his flash down. You feel safe as Ezreal even when you're flashed down because you got that Arcane Shift, but not so when GENG are this fast to punish as they push the Leona away and this collapse onto Leaper. GENG now with Baron. I mean, it's a So snowball well and truly rolling down the hill at this point.
It really is. And one thing that's happened from today that I'm really happy about is just the fact that the Gangplank floodgates have been opened. You know? And I just want more. I love watching Gangplank play. I think he's fantastic in team fights, in lane. And it's just really fun to watch barrels go boom. There's another one. Speaking of which, GENG just going to break open the inhibitor turret on the bottom side of the map. No real fight is breaking out as Paze and Leaper facing off against one another, but the Baron is going to push Leaper away from this one. Even Dudu not able to move on over because Keen is catching that flank angle. And he can sort of stand here with impunity. Barrel goes on over, but good slice there from Dudu to get himself out of the way. And I think a last-ditch effort is all that's really on the cards here for Quantum Freaks, but they can't really do it if the Crocodile's down at half health, and this poke damage that's coming through is kind of nutty. Exactly right, as now Arndil, he's going to catch a Glacial Prison. Bulldog's also just taking incidental damage. Arndil's going to try and turn it. It doesn't quite work out, though, as the quickness comes in. That's going to clean up the Crocodile, and Lehens takes matters into his own hands. Leaper tries his very best to find a fight, but he's not quite going to get there. The slowdown comes in from Bulldog, but all of his friends are lying down in the dirt.
The only thing left to do at this point is to vote POG Atlas. And that's a tough call. It's one of those games where you're like, man, it's a great game for Lehens. Like, Paze is actually pretty sick this game. Like, Keen's GP actually kind of on fire. Like, Canyon's early game, his mid game, his ults were a little bit shaky, but, you know, he's all pretty solid. And
I think maybe
Chovy is laning. I mean, come on.
Is it just a Canyon? Like a if in doubt Canyon type moment?
Yeah, I think it is. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm a little bored of Canyon voting. You know, we've been doing it for like 4 years.
It used to be that it was the only right vote ever. And we'll see whether that's going to be the case, as there goes the Nexus. GENG making short work of Quantum Freaks. No longer on a holiday across the globe. They are back in Korea, and it is business time.
It certainly is. I'll give Canyon the vote. I was really trying to find an angle to vote for Paze because he had some really cool slide in and finished off the enemy champion moments. There were some great engages for Lehens as well. Keen was a little bit tougher to like force. Chovy was a little bit tougher to force. He had a great laning phase, so applied a lot of pressure to Bulldog, but Canyon just ties it all together, and that's why he gets all the POG votes, because this roster is winning every lane. They have pressure everywhere, and then Canyon's the one who actually sets up the kills because he uses that lane pressure to great success. And when we found out he was joining this team, when he was joining GENG, we were all horrified as to what it could mean. And I still feel like we're not even at the ceiling of this roster just yet, but it is just so scary to watch him in action. As Quantum Freaks is a top 4 team in the LCK, and GENG made him look like nothing.
They really did. Of course, Quantum Freaks on the downtrend a little bit after their more recent losses, but still, I don't know what to expect from a series from any team here in the LCK against GENG. Because right now, they have not lost a single game, and it hasn't even looked a little bit close while they've done it as well.
I don't want anyone to be talking about that handbag. I don't want anyone to blame Dudu. Did you see the pressure he was under?
Yeah,
he couldn't play the game.
Yeah, it wasn't Dudu's fault. Justice for Dudu, as we are going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space is going to break it down, and we'll have game number 2. We'll see you there.
헬로 올게.
바텀 쓰면 끝나나?
끝날만해 이거. 레오나는 나오고.
아 근데 얘네 라클 바로
그래 혼자 하긴 해. 바론이야 바론 우리야. 왜 잡으면 끝나지? 왜 노플이잖아. 그냥 기인이가 술통 전멸해가지고 뭐 잘해보던가. 어머 그냥 몸 넣어주면 내가 그냥 박을게. 대가리 박을게. 넣어볼래요? 왜 스킬 다 빠졌고? 타워 일단 깨자. 넣어봐. 회의 높어요? 이거 타워 타워? 레오나.
네, 나오긴 한다.
회의 높어요? 끝났어. 이거 치면 끝나.
Maybe this time is the time it gets a little spicier for CV Max. Played one straight-up game against GENG. Now, I'd rather see a Corki ban in this spot than trying to ban Canyon's champion pool, and then he just gets POG on Sejuani instantly the next game, or the game right afterwards. Like, I'm not sure about this style, but this is what it is. I think Corki, the lane presence we saw from Chovy in Game 1 cannot be overstated. I think the votes that we saw there are warranted, and he's just going to get it straight up right again.
Okay, so is this... Okay, it's not the CV Max special. We're not just going to straight up salty run back. It's not happening. The Zeri is going to be taken away this time, of course. Leaper having some great performances on it. You saw very vocal there in the player cam, as we just saw. So a little bit of a change-up. Not necessarily going to change how this draft goes in any way, as the Sejuani is going to be locked in once again. This is where the Zeri was picked. They could just swap 80 carries if they feel like it. Or they could pick something else.
I think they probably will. I think they're just going to grab the Ezreal.
I think Gangplank. I think try to lean into that matchup.
GP also a great pick here because you will lose it in the second phase. Or just completely change it up.
Okay, yeah, sure. Just Jace. A theoretical flex pick between mid and top if you want to throw Corki into the bottom lane.
Let's not put Corki in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Don't ask Noah about that.
We haven't actually seen it in Korea, have we?
We saw it at the beginning of this.
Yes, right at the beginning.
Yeah.
But not really so much
well.
since then. Yeah.
It did not go well. It's not working.
To be perfectly honest, Noah did scale into that game, even though he was down 150 CS or something like that. He was doing damage towards the end. All right, there it is. Like, we knew that this was a possibility. We knew that they were toying with it, and now they're going to lock it in.
Okay, is it good, though?
Because that's not
because Corki pushing into an Ezreal in the mid lane is also going to be happening, and it's going to take Cuz being on a strong jungle pick like the Viego, which he picked last time, prioritized, which isn't going to be here this time because it's going to get banned away. I don't think GENG are going to allow him to play that, and then it becomes a little bit tougher to set up for this Ezreal pick. The Maokai also a great option, but now removed. And I don't hate this Ezreal pick, and it is very cool, and it is very CV Max, but I am concerned about what it means because the Hui got blasted the last time around, and I don't know if the Ezreal is going to fare much better. In fact, I'm leaning towards will fare worse.
I mean, Ezreal is a very oppressive solo laner, always kind of has been very fringe. It was one of my favorite metas. I think it was back in like Season 5 or something like that, where there was a lot of Ezreal being played in the mid lane. It's a very different time. Ezreal, a very different champion.
Yeah, it's been a while. I guarantee you when the thing pops up, it's going to be Showmaker was the last person who played it. Yeah,
and was that in the famous game with Malrang as well? Or wait, Showmaker actually played in the bottom lane, didn't he?
Yeah. But Malrang was the AD carry.
Malrang was the AD carry. That is true. AD carry Rumble.
This is a big in-joke at the LCK, but if you watch the game, you know it. If you didn't, don't. Actually, just don't go back. All right, Leona's gone. So that was one of the best supports that could be picked up here for the bottom lane of Kwangdong Freaks. They're going to go Ivern. Now, it's a double AD carry angle. This is what we wanted DRX to go with, but didn't in the previous series. And now Cuz is going to lock that one in. So pulling a bit of a fast one on GENG. They did not see that one coming.
They also didn't see it coming in the last tournament they were in either, and kind of got schooled. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one's going to go, whether GENG have done a little bit of, fixing up of the things that went wrong.
Okay, this is a super strong rotation here for GENG, though. Kai'Sa into Ezreal and Zeri, both, every time she encounters either of them, she's going to feel really good about that matchup. And then the lockdown from the Nautilus ult on both of these slippery AD carries is insanely strong. The Braum is still a good pickup here, and I think it is going to be great for the early laning phase, as well as potentially some level 1 shenanigans that we do see here from Kwangdong Freaks.
Not to mention absorbing a lot of the poke. There's going to be Void Seekers, Shock Blasts, Rockets.
Yep.
Lots of things.
Strong. The door value here is pretty immense.
Yep. Loads of door value, and we do like to adjudicate that.
But, you know, in terms of engage here for the side of Kwangdong Freaks, you're pretty limited. The Braum and the Renekton have a lot of distance they're going to have to cover when we get to neutral fights, because you're going to be Void Seekers coming through. You've only got one door. Void Seekers coming, Shock Blasts are coming, the Corki Rockets are coming. You might have a Sejuani ult you, and then you're caught. The Ivern's very squishy. I'm a little bit worried about what happens if Kwangdong Freaks lose control of the map.
Wait.
Japan,
Is that mid lane? That's mid lane Zeri.
oh, so we were thinking about this wrong the whole time. This, I think this matchup, for me, probably would play out a little bit better than the Ezreal into the Corki, but
I mean,
but neither of them feel very great to me, Atlas, and
I kind of thought like matching Trinity Force timings actually sounds like a kind of cool idea in the mid lane. But you know, yeah, I guess that's one way. That's
he's
one way
cooking,
you can do it.
Atlas. He's
He is.
cooking
That
more
means
than we thought.
That means now we've seen Zeri in 3 different lanes, which is kind of cool. Looking forward to the jungling. Is Cloud Templar actually going to acquiesce the requests of the
All right,
fans here?
Hold up. Because, okay, I was going to say, if we have the fan signs out a little bit longer, it might actually be a swap bug, and it's not the case. But no, it's real. It's real.
I guess it is. We'll have confirmation as we bring up the screen here. We don't necessarily see a whole lot of permafrost value, but I don't think Canyon's too worried about that. And there it is. The Zeri in the mid lane is going to be the pickup here. Let's see how Cuz's Ivern's going to be able to do with Bulldog there in mid. They were asking for more 2v2 in mid and jungle. This could work out. Let's jump into the rift for game 2. Aye, me hearties, and here we are, onto the rift for game. Oh wait, what?
You missed the opportunity to say, here we are.
Yeah, I know, and I was also like in a Scottish accent for some reason.
Yeah, it was really strange.
It was very strange. I'm not going to try and do pirate ever again. I apologize for that one, guys. Was going for it, you know, gave it a crack, and we can retire it now forever.
That's
And
okay.
I think that's fine.
We get to a lull state, you and I can talk about wristwatches and whether Windy should have stayed in Never Neverland, or, you know.
Yeah.
We're not quite there yet.
And how many Nevers there are in Neverland as well? Like,
Yeah.
is it Never Neverland or is it just Neverland? I don't know. I never knew.
I think the adults say Neverland.
Yeah.
The kids who want to stay in Neverland call it Neverland.
And which version of Peter Pan that's in movie form is true canon?
Well, I
There
think
are
most
so
people
many.
would say Hook,
So would I.
because Robin Williams
Yeah, true.
didn't have a bad movie except Flubber. Let's be real. That's the only one.
Yep.
But
Wait, was Flubber bad? I watched that when I
Yeah.
was so young
Look,
that I wouldn't even know whether it was bad or not.
for Robin Williams standards, I mean, come on. Like, is it a bad movie? Not necessarily, but like, you know, for Robin Williams, it's kind of like,
That's
he's
true.
in love with the computer. Come on.
Hey, there have been some movies since then that have been about that have been quite good.
Yeah.
As Lehens and Pays are going to get attacked here momentarily by Leaper and Arndil. And Lehens actually kind of getting pushed out here as Kane going very aggressive towards Dudu. Man, Dudu is just a punching bag.
Yeah, he's
this
just
series.
He's playing into champions that shoot far at him, and he's having a bad time. And he's going to need some jungle assistance in this game as well. But Ivern ganking a Jace sounds a little bit tricky to pull off. As Kai'Sa has not been doing the winning that much, and that is a list of East Side players with the exception of Viper. So you know, there's been a lot of some of our weaker teams leaning on the pick more than our winning teams. Teddy being arguably our best Kai'Sa player on that list, I would say.
Yep.
Besides Viper, of course. And Cuz going to come for a level 3 gank.
All right, see whether he can actually find it here as Chobi gets the bad news, but it's going to miss. And so therefore Chobi is well and truly fine.
Ivern not really known for his level 3 gank prowess, but...
This is going to be a surprise to you, Wolf. This is the first time we've seen Zeri in the mid lane.
So it's not a surprise in that we knew it was being played a ton in mid when she was released, but in the LCK that didn't really catch on for us. And then she got nerfed and changed, and some of the like extendo beam and stuff was reworked a little bit, and then she was no longer a viable mid champion. And I think most would say probably not really still viable, but in this draft,
we will just have to see.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out.
Yep. I do like that he visited the kitchen, though. And that's what I kind of wanted in game number 1. At least we get it here in game 2, and hopefully it does work out. As Pays and Lehens still struggling to get any form of big control as Dudu in a whole host of trouble, as now Pace could also be in some. Does have to cleanse here, as Undil getting taken down low, but Pace almost just dead here as Leaper stands his ground and delivers.
Yeah, crazy that that W actually connected with Pays and not Lehens. Lehens was trying to block for him, as Bulldog should be fine here. Now, the reason why we don't see a lot of AD carries in the mid lane, because they're relatively immobile. They're very vulnerable. Kai'Sa, for example, was played mid by Faker, and that was becoming very popular when AP Kai'Sa was insanely strong for a while there.
Yep.
Aiming was, you know, abusing that quite a bit. Zeri has a small little dash when she's not near walls. She could still kind of move away, as you saw there. Not a ton of mobility on the champion unless she's next to a wall. So can be very, very scary to play this, especially once Canyon hits level 6. But this is not a trade I think Dudu should have taken.
No. And even the little zaps of the electricity also kind of annoying him, as Keen does press W. Cuz going to be discovered here, trying to make friends with the Raptors, that will then just disappear as they make their way towards the mid lane. And I think this is Keen just, maybe he's got license to have a good time, and Jace is his way of expressing that by crushing lane, and that is precisely what's happening here.
Yeah, no, he's going to be in this isolated matchup, as Ivern obviously needs to go bottom. He went up there to try to defend the Renekton, but now he knows he's not there, so he's just going to abuse that and continue to put the pressure on. Down here, even though they almost killed Pays and got his cleanse, he's still maintaining CS parity here in the bottom lane, so pretty good news for GENG, as Lehens just going to continue to take the brunt of that damage. Chovy has not been able to, into a Zeri, you know, it can be quite tricky, get a ton of value out of Gatling Gun Harass and putting the same pressure on, obviously, that he would in the Hui matchup. Into Ezreal as well would have been a little bit tough because of the ability to Q from a distance. And Chovy playing very safe, playing very careful in this matchup right now. I think, you know, we'll see what happens as Bulldog gets level 6 here, if he can try to all in as Cuz.
Yeah, going to come on over. Not able to secure his Raptor camp. And in fact, they're just going to let Canyon live for now, not wanting to go for that 2v2, as of course, Chovy was right there. Now some grubs being looked at, and Canyon just kind of going where he pleases at the moment in this game, as Bulldog dashing forward, Chovy killing minions. Surprise, surprise to absolutely everyone, as we know. About 400 gold the lead here for GENG, just purely from laning, and mainly from mid and top lane, as well as the jungle, as Canyon has been able to stream ahead just a little bit. But I think Quantum Freak's probably looking for more of these team fights, more of just trying to scale their way in as Slice, Dice, and, well, not actually a lot of Dice, to be honest. For Dudu, they're towards the top side, as once again, the trade's not necessarily working out in his favor, and this not working out in GENG's favor as well. So at least there's a pressure point on the map for the Quantum Freaks.
Yeah, now starting to take a big CS deficit here. Pays trying to catch up. Only 10 CS behind, but still quite significant. This is going to allow Quantum Freaks to take this Dragon as well. And up on the top side, you know, I mean, things are pretty disastrous, but if they can keep this pressure up bottom, and yeah, this is Corki doing Corki things. Bulldog now can't all in, can't trade back with his ult. Yeah, will definitely die. You just got to keep that pressure on as the
Oh
Corki.
dear.
Uh-oh.
Lehens and Pays possibly getting punished here as Lehens has to flash. Does manage to get to the wall, but is Pays going to be okay? Meanwhile, we'll check out the top side as Dudu, he's going to go into the Dominus, but there is the Glacial Prison. Keen lands the Shock Blast, and Canyon tanks the turret just enough. Even the cannon is secured. Something happened bottom lane. They almost died, but they didn't, and so it's all okay.
Wow. Well, Dudu he's handbag territory again. He's doing the handbag thing. Unfortunately, he is not in this game. It is now a 5v4 game that Quantum Freaks are going to be playing, as he has no teleport. So there are a few moments here where you're like, does he live? Does he get out? Like he's able to get his dash right. The knockup is used, but doesn't actually knock him away from his turret. And then he barely lives here. But then the Shock Blast is good from Keen, and that's the end of that. Like, for a moment, you're like, does he live? No, he does not. Keen doesn't miss those, and he's now at 37 CS, back to the lane. He walked back, and Keen is going to continue to put that pressure on. He bought a tier, and that's stacking up now. He's got the Dirk in his inventory, and with the refillable pot, he's just going to keep applying pressure. If Dudu wants to trade back, he's going to heal through it, and then he's just going to keep hitting him until this Renekton can take no more.
Yeah, it's very rough, and we're starting to see these trades going very in favor of Chovy. That one previously just looked completely unfair. It was like Chovy had way more buttons than Bulldog had. As now Canyon going to move on over as Cuz is making friends with the Forest, is going to try and move his way in, and now Canyon will start this one up, and it's not quite friendly enough just yet for Cuz to take.
Yeah,
as Daisy's going to pop on over. This is a 2 versus 1. This is very unfair. Canyon going to have to try and get out, but was actually kind of thinking that he wants to take the red first. So he'll take the red first, and then he'll get out.
He knows that Cuz doesn't have smite because he would have just instantly smited once he had the cap on the camp. And he's like, well, I could just stay here and actually take it. You don't have it. He has it now, and we'll use it to at least secure his Raptors. But man, Canyon is putting on a clinic of how to play against Ivern when you have lane pressure in both mid and top, because the Ivern just cannot actually secure his camps, because he can try to cap, but those could be stolen away. Without smite, you can't deny the enemy jungler. As Cuz trying to make something happen with Daisy, but he's just out of options here. And now Canyon's just like, all right, the time has passed. I'm going to go take my own jungle now.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 1 kill in favor of GENG, but it's everything else that's sort of compiling on top, right? Like, you've got compiling on top. That's not how that works. The piling part of compiling doesn't actually mean piling. Never mind. It's about 1.5k, the lead here for GENG, despite the fact that there is only 1 kill. That just means that it's not a lot of control for Condom Freaks.
Yeah, if it was a lane lead compilation, it'd probably only include top and mid. I think they cut the bottom lane because there's a bit of a negative one down there.
In fact, Jonah Strong, I think, is definitely agreeing with you.
Okay, here comes Canyon again. Dudu has teleport coming back, so if he dies here, at least he's got that, right?
Yeah, true.
At least he's got that.
We get the little zoom in. There's the precast of the Dominus. The swap positions, that's kind of cute, but look at Canyon. He's tanking this one for about 15 years. There's the flash. Keen will pick up turret aggro, but he is still going to be absolutely fine. Takes another plate. There are 2 minions here to soak the rest of the autos. And that's a 2-0 Jace.
That's a 2-0 Jace. That's a Croc sitting on 50 CS. And it was so well played by Dudu as well, but I mean, without flash, they did
have to double flash to get it.
Yeah, they did have to double flash. You know, he doesn't have flash. There's nothing he can do there, but I think it's absolutely worth a double flash for this play because of both the lead that Keen's going to pick up and also how irrelevant Renekton is going to be for the rest of this game. Unfortunately, is TP here to contest. Quantum can't even get this.
Max range hook is going to connect there, and look at all of the damage from so far away. Pays is the one that picks up the kill. They'll take some grubs there as well. They want the 5 stack to start getting these turrets down, and Jace will make short work of them. And Pays is now unlocked from the lane, feeling way better about the state of the game.
Yeah, Pays is like, I'm almost evil.
Oh, no. Don't do it to him. He doesn't deserve it.
No.
Oh, man. Maybe they went and watched Hook in the break. And they were like, no, crocodiles are evil. But no, they're only evil to the pirate side of it.
Yeah.
They're just animals trying to get by.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, it's been a very rough day for Dudu thus far on this Renekton that they've been priority picking, right? Like, this is is not like I'm just going to try and cope with the pickup here. It's like Dudu is taking the short straw. He's the one that has to blind pick. And Keen, he had the Gangplank first, now he's got the Jace, and neither of them look very good for the Renekton.
Yeah, okay, Cuz has smite this time, so can get the steal on this camp. Small victory, but it's the Renekton that you're picking feeling like you're going to get an edge in the matchup because it's, you know, right now we've been seeing mostly tanks until the Skarner nerf, right? And, you know, everyone had a different read on which top laners were going to be meta. We knew there were whispers of GP. Now it's actually being played. The Jace comes in here. It was surprise, surprise. This is another one that we're going to win with. And I mean, this is just salt on the wounds because Quantum Freaks are like, all right, well, maybe we can get these grubs, right? Like, we have Bulldog here. Maybe we actually get something on the map. No, you get nothing, actually. And GENG come over. I mean, they get 1. That is it, unfortunately. And there's nothing that the Renekton can do to help out, unfortunately. There's nothing anyone can do to help. It's actually just a tragedy, at least.
It is absolutely a tragedy. And Pays is now 600 gold ahead of Leaper as well, which is, I think, extraordinarily rude. Because Leaper has had a great laning phase. Like, him and Andil are doing really good things, but it's a team game. The rest of the map was on fire, and Pays picking up solo local gold for first turret blood there on the top side of the map.
Massive.
Yep, that is definitely going to help alleviate any troubles that they might have had.
It's just, there's just no good news, unfortunately. Maybe a second dragon? I think Canyon's got other ideas.
Well, let's see what they can find. Cuz not able to land the snare as, okay, Chovy possibly in trouble, or possibly just going to kill 2 people now as Canyon. Winter's Bite is stacked up. Is going to be able to throw out the Glacial Prison secures the Drake there as well. Some knockups coming in, but oh my goodness, they're in a blender. They managed to take down the Nautilus, though, as now Pays has been separated. And Kwangdong Freaks, oh, Keen wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Oh.
But they still got the dragon. Still got the dragon. You know, pay no mind to the dying.
GENG got the dragon.
They got the dragon. Lehen's got a huge set of knockups with his ult as well.
Yeah, that's true. And then he died.
Yeah, he was like, you know, sometimes when you're Nautilus, you're thinking, oh man, they're all on top of each other, my ult's going to be so big. But sometimes you need to think about, you know, if there's any follow-up for that or not. Because in this case was not.
No.
And he did die. But they got the dragon. And Kwangdong Freaks are still 4,500 gold behind.
I mean, they got an inner turret.
But they got the team fight win, Atlas.
Yeah.
Or they got, yeah, with Lehen's here.
They did.
They put all the damage onto Canyon, and Braum ulted him. And so this actually is still pretty close.
Yeah.
And if there is a little bit more, you know, in the tank here for GENG, if Chobi is actually on top, if Keen is there, and that knockup so the knockups happens for Lehen's, then it is not even close. But at the end of the day, at least they get one back. One on the board for Bulldog Zeri. We're not going to certify it, though, as this game state is still pretty rough for Kwangdong Freaks.
Yeah. And right now, in this lane right here, Chovy has double the farm of what Dudu has. And that's why you can see Dudu taking about 1 trillion damage from Sheen proc out of this Corki. Bulldog is going to be able to skate over the wall. He should be absolutely fine. It's a very long lane. As now Lehen's sidestepping a Winter's Bite. King comes down. And there may need to be a door. There is. Pays looking for that backline. It's now Canyon. How did he manage to find that? As Cuz just going to be sniped off the back end, but is going to survive. Those shields really working out. And both 80 carries grab a kill. That
Leaper
is a real victory for Kwangdong Freaks.
Leaper going to get the shutdown onto Keen as well. That's massive amounts of gold that this Ezreal is going to pick up. This is a huge swing. Now, still a massive gold lead here for GENG. Don't get me wrong, but this was a big error on the side of GENG, as Cuz just ends up being the taunt button on this one.
All right, well, Dudu is going to try and, I think he was trying to clear out the wave. Oh my, if that rocket landed, he was just dead. And the turret is definitely dead.
Yeah, Dudu really just wants to play the game, but he's playing the game about as much as my cousin I gave the controller to, and the controller wasn't plugged in.
No, this is like you were in a game already, and you'd done everything wrong, and then your cousin picks up the controller to try and step in and finish it off, and unfortunately, it's all just a bit doomed.
Yeah. Well, it's a great Glacial Prison, but the redemption comes down because flashes, and they're just hard pushing onto him because they want that kill, and they will not get it. Canyon pays for it with his life. So does Keen. The shutdown goes over to the Ezreal. So double 80 carry with Ivern. If they can get some modicum of map control back somehow, some way, you know, there's a Mountain Soul here. It's not the most relevant soul for really either of these compositions, but if they can leapfrog bushes forward, and these 80 carries, there's no vision for them. It's going to be a lot of money GENG have to spend on control wards to fight through that. Maybe there's a world, maybe there's a way they come back. The problem is the Renekton is so irrelevant, even with the kills going over. Like, Bulldog picks up his second, it's a shutdown onto Leaper.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's no front line here, and there's never going to be. The front line is because of shields. That's actually the front line. Is hopefully his shields are enough.
Andil's shield as well.
A little, yeah, he's got a little, you know, he's kind of standing there for a minute with the door up.
Yeah, he's got a door, so he can put that there. But no, I think you're right. I think both of these teams are going to be very happy with the Mountain Solo, just with the fact that you can sort of create frontline with anyone if you do stack enough of them. And 3 would certainly be a fair bit, but that's getting ahead of ourselves because
Bramble's surfing, man.
Yeah, that's I mean, Daisy she's got some gusto. Now Canyon looking for an opportunity. Undil's going to turn up, though. Chovy does a lot of damage, but there's 4 members of Kwangdong Freaks in this area. Flank angle here from Lehen's, and even though Keen was in the vicinity, they're not going to bite off more than they can chew. Didn't know where Dudu was. Didn't want to get surprised by a crocodile.
Yeah, he has TP as well, and they're aware of it. Undil.
Oh, dear. Okay, Shock Blast is going to miss.
He only misses the ones he wants to miss.
That's true.
Canyon is lurking.
Wanted to see whether they were going to go for a little bit more of a push. Not going to actually happen there. Canyon going to elect to choose this time to reset.
One of the advantages of having the Zeri mid, similar to when we saw Zeus play at top at EWC, is that you have the ability to side lane with a champion that has Shiv and can clear those very quickly, and you're not really putting that much hard pressure on a turret, but if you do get to it, she does take turrets out very quickly, and you know, the fact that Zeri can kind of TP into fights and stuff like that is a really big boon. So differently than bot AD carry, at least it's going to have some extra side lane pressure there. The Ezreal has True Shot Barrage, so can kind of manage those waves in mid pretty well too. So Quantum Freaks can try to wrestle back some of that prio. They did TP Bulldog back to the bottom lane here, but just no prio, unfortunately, and the brushes defensively to kite away is not how you want to be playing Ivern, but they're just so far behind. They can't do anything, you know, and the Jace could just fire Shock Blast kind of blindly towards them when he's the one who's standing on the dragon and they have to walk towards him. It's not a great look, but
yeah,
what they can do is at least Dudu might pick up some money here.
Yep, does manage to get this out of turret. No one's going to be up here in order to stop it. Mikhail's is also done as well as Redemption here for Cuz, who is he's an enchanter.
Yes.
From the jungle. Having a pretty good time. Going to continue trying to tame the jungle here, and there we go. Canyon is going to give up. Does make his way out. Chovy here on the bottom side of the map, just doing some Chovy things. Hasn't quite got to the inner turret just yet, like Keen was able to do on the top side, and it's still about a 3,000 gold lead. So over the last 7 minutes or something like that, 8 minutes, it has been about the same as far as those that gold advantage is concerned. That is very positive for
yeah, no, it's definitely, they've definitely stemmed the bleeding quite significantly. And, I mean, if Genji make another mistake, because we've seen some overzealous calls from them in this game already, which is part of why Quantum Freaks are still in this, then there's a wave back in. And they do have this Ezreal Zeri, lots of damage output, great scaling. So, I don't know about that one, I guess, checking the Herald, but they do have a lot of great scaling. It's just surviving the next 5 to 8 minutes without a big blunder, and that's easier said than done.
Oh,
Canyon.
okay, there's the Glacier Prison. Once again, they're going to go for it as the door is up and the door is down. Bulldog now going to have to dash away from Keen. Does successfully make it underneath the turret, but they now don't have their Braum. They've got Daisy. She's going to be able to try and push them away. Dudu with teleport up and available is electing instead to get some farm, and I don't blame him. He needs as much as he can find. As Keen will move down towards that bottom side just to catch the wave that was heading towards him. Shock Blast going to help him up there, help him out there, as you can see.
Yeah. Dudu, get that Krug.
Yeah, he gets it.
Oh, is he queuing for it? Oh, he gets it. All 42.
Beautiful.
Looks like one baby Krug got out, actually. But, you know, that's the Renekton who is 60 CS behind 0-2 experience, where you're like, I can't hit a turret, but I will do Krugs. You know, I'll do anything I can. I'll get any money I can find. He's like checking the vending machines to see if anyone left to change behind level of 4.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just a fantastic ult from Canyon here. Even though his initial target is Cuz, they could actually pivot so easily. Redemption gets dropped instantly, but not much you could do after that. And Cuz delays a little bit, puts up some brushes. Can be really, Ivern can be quite strong at stopping these heavy pushes. Part of the reason why that turret still stands, but still a huge win.
But also I feel like Ivern is so good at standing in the neutral, right? And then like trying to like take ground and doing things more slowly and steadily. I feel like with this this sort of game plan and the fact that they don't have very much range, the fact that you're into so much poke sort of takes away from some of the danger. In fact, the reason Genji lost so incredibly hard and completely to the Ivern last time around is that they were outranged at the same time as having to deal with an Ivern.
And in that game too, for those who didn't watch it, you know, or those remembering back, like Genji actually had a pretty significant advantage, but then they lost control of the map one time, and then the Ivern was just too oppressive to deal with, and they played it so safe and so slow, and Tian was just constantly leapfrogging the bushes in. Cuz is not in a position to do that because of the range problem here you mentioned. So it can't just go, okay, well, I'll put one bush down, and then one more bush, and then, okay, we're working our way to the dragon. It's just too slow, and they're too far behind. But, you know, again, one mistake from Genji, and they get full map control of it. Like, if they get a Baron in this game, there is a way back in. I truly do believe that this game is not over until Genji really lock it up. I think taking the first Baron will probably be where we reach the point of no return, and Quantum Freaks won't be able to win the game. But if they can secure a Baron, if they can get a pick somehow, which is tough with this composition because it doesn't really have a lot of pick-based engage, there's a world. But you're dealing with the poke from this Kaisa, which is about to have the Gnasher's Tooth, so it's going to be a little bit more oppressive. The poke from the Corki, and more importantly than all, Keen's poke in this game on 3 items, including the Serpent's Fang tech, which is great into the Ivern. It's just, it's hard to see the world where Quantum Freaks slowly claw their way back into this.
It's going to take a whole lot of very measured play from this team. As Bulldog possibly overextended, but he smells that there's something in the water. Understandably, it is in fact Bristle. As Keen lands a Shock Blast, and Bulldog is going to back away, so not going to be overextending or anything like that here. 15 seconds, and then it is going to be second Mountain Drake time. Soul Point available for GENG as well. As you can see, Chovy just playing bouncer here, trying to get rid of them. And Keen, oh man, just needs one more W, and then he is going to be through that turret if he's given some free time. Now just going to slink away into the river.
Dudu has TP, but there's not a great flank ward for him. Breaking through this is going to take a lot of bush leapfrogging.
It's going to be a hard commit if they do want to go for this one, as the poke is starting to land as well. There's the teleport. It's pretty late. Let's see whether they can find a team fight, though. Canyon is not the engaged target. Daisy goes down. Chovy going to take that 50 gold and feel very happy about it. As Shock Blast continuing to land. It's another flank angle here as Chovy sees more red dots in the mid lane. And he'll take those down as there's the Glacial Prison. They're on that flank angle once again. It's the Braum. He puts up the door. It's a little bit more value this time around. And now Dudu found the front line, but so did Keen. Just takes down the Ezreal. Undil's going to fall to the skies, says Keen, and takes down his opposite number. And GENG, they're going to push them under this outer turret. And that's another team fight win for them on top of the Drake.
On top of the Dragon. And it was clearly a split call from Kwangdong Freaks. They teleported in to watch the Dragon go, and then just kind of hung around because they had to kite out. Canyon finds his opportunity, and he's looking for another one.
He is a bull possessed. His Cuz is very dead. The Killer Instinct set up beautifully, and Pays is going to knock him down. Speaking of things getting knocked down, Chovy dealing with the inner turret here in mid lane, and we are cruising towards about a 7,000 gold lead, and the Baron Pit at the same time.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done, Atlas. You know, there was
that was that time you were referring to,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, there was a sliver of hope. It's gone now.
Oh, the True Shot Barrage of Destiny. Can it pierce the heavens? No, it can pierce the Baron, and it will help them take it down.
Yeah, and they'll get more value out of the fountain when they back and get all their health back. All right, so watch this angle for Canyon. He's like, oh, you guys thought you were going to half commit and get away with it? No, you guys didn't even commit to the fight, and yet still, I find this engaged. Now, Dudu actually gets a surprising amount of value in this fight with the heal he gets through, but, I mean, look at the damage output otherwise. Like, yeah, Bulldog is completely zoned away by Chovy, cannot offer anything.
It was like Bulldog and Cuz, both of them. It was just Chovy just standing there with a Gatling gun, and they couldn't walk past.
Yeah, he just couldn't get past him, and
Oh dear, okay, here's the skate in. Supercharger there from Pays. Can he actually survive? Flashes over the wall is now Keen. Looks to try and get himself out. Lahen's trying to help, but it's not going to work. And that is one Baron down. Kwangdong Freak's able to do that. They might also be able to take this outer turret as well.
Bounty gold.
Yeah, absolutely. The inner turret could be taken also, and that would mean even more bounty gold. As over the wall goes Canyon. Okay, maybe this is a bridge too far. As the hook is going to connect. The Quadra knock-up from Lahen's, and Endel was tanking the turret the whole time. Okay, inner turret, that's not going to work, but they could take the little pick onto Keen. Turn it into the outer turret. That's okay. Ignore the bottom lane. Ignore that.
Chovy didn't have teleport, so he was like, sorry guys, you're on your own. I'm winning the game over here. That's an inhib turret down.
Well, now he's on a flank angle. As okay, Canyon looking for an opportunity here as the door cannot go multiple directions as Chovy, he's going to get himself out of there. True Shot Barrage does land on top of him as Bulldog's doing his very best. Killer Instinct into the back line. Leap is going to be sniped by Pays, and he's able to take both of them. Canyon to the rescue on top of that as Supercharger's there to avoid Dudu, who is a very big crocodile, and he's not even able to take down Lahen's. Cuz wanted it as well, and he gets the thumbs up. Pays now just going to take down this inhibitor turret, and I think this game is over, Wolf.
Yeah, I think this game was over moments ago, but you know, it's going to be, the Nexus is now going to officially explode. I love Cuz trying to flash to kill Lahen's because he at least get one more like gimme at the end. No, he doesn't even get that. Doesn't get that. Doesn't get the kill on the Nautilus.
You can feel the desperation in the Kwangdong Freaks in these moments. They know that this game is a far cry from in a good place, and the Nexus is now getting taken down. The one ult that Canyon misses is because his target dies before it can connect. And GENG looking pretty good as they come back to the LCK.
They certainly do. The win streak continues. 7 in a row now, 14 games in a row, not a single game loss. And honestly, if we go back and look, probably not a single gold deficit at 14. You know, it's just the level of dominance that we've only really seen from T1 in the past, but this feels even more dominant than that. And it's not even GENG going in, like, reshaping the whole meta, playing double marks from bottom, and no one else has really mastered that yet. They're just playing stock standard, and we're like, oh, it's good meta for Canyon. He can play AP junglers. He's not even playing AP junglers in this series. He's just playing Sejuani. And it doesn't matter when you're winning every lane because you have the best mid laner in the LCK, arguably the world. You have the best top laner in the LCK, and now recently the best bot duo as well. Because that was one point where we were like, I don't know, Pace and Lehens are like only a 9 out of 10. Now they're a 10 out of 10 as well, and you're just not winning anywhere.
You're not. Also, I just want to say, like, shout out Paze for using Jackie Love's skin on the Kai'Sa as well. Really acknowledging.
That's the skin I use.
Yep, I mean, it's probably the best one, probably the most popular Kai'Sa skin as well.
But also the acknowledgement. Yes.
Yep, I like the acknowledgement, understanding that, you know, they haven't lost that many games since MSI. And in fact, that gentleman was the forefront of one of them. So, or two of them, I guess.
Well, it was a pretty clean game here for GENG, and again, Kwangdong's a great team. That's the thing. If you're thinking about this like it's Kwangdong at the end of spring season, if you're thinking about it like it's Kwangdong last year that did upset GENG, but was otherwise a kind of bottom of playoffs team, that's not the Kwangdong we're looking at right now. This is a really strong Kwangdong that's bringing teams like T1 to the brink, but unfortunately, GENG was just too much, and the deficit was just too high. Dudu is probably he didn't get to play a best of 3 today. He's not allowed.
No, it was a very sad handbag day for Dudu, unfortunately. Not having a very good time. But sometimes it just happens like that. And GENG, a very difficult team to attack. And I think that they came into that's this like one of 2 4-man knockups from a depth charge. Lehens actually has struggled with some of those and finding those plays, but got 2 back-to-back in this one game.
You could see some of these moments here too, where like that moment there where they went on to Cuz, he has the redemption. If they were not so massively far behind, if the Jace was not just giga-fed, you know, this comp works, like it looks strong, but it wasn't playable at the game state they were at because GENG just got so far ahead. At Dudu, this wasn't in the game, and it's a tragedy for Kwangdong because I feel like people are going to look at this game and the takeaway is going to be, I guess Kwangdong's collapsing. We're getting close to the second round robin. But no, it's just GENG is so damn good at this.
Well, I mean,
not fair.
They do need to work on bouncing back from losses, though, because it's going to happen, right? You're going to face GENG. They're a ridiculously powerful team. As we have a listen to GENG here in these final moments of the series, that play from Paze, real nice. You see Canyon cheering on his teammate there as well. As Dudu,
my favorite part, Cuz.
Yeah, the flash to try and kill his ex-teammate, and it doesn't quite work out. A little bit of
a here for GENG. Nothing really being discussed.
No, to finish my point though is you've got to be able to bounce back from difficult losses like this.
Yeah.
And Kwangdong Freaks, this is going to be the big test because they fell to D+ Kia, a team that looks like they could be second in the LCK with the way that they're playing now. GENG, I mean, need no introduction. They haven't lost in the LCK so far this season, MSI champions. So I think they need to not take it to heart and then try and get back on the horse as quickly as possible, because that's something that Kwangdong Freaks have struggled with in the past. That's why we make all of the references, and I think you have to go back to that to really work out what they need to focus on right now.
I think as Kwangdong, the next matchup they have is DRX. I mean, DRX is a strong team in their own right, looking a lot better than they were, for example, in week 1. But
bit more winnable.
Yeah, I feel like that's the matchup where if you stumble there, that's when we start to worry. But we're not there yet, so CV Max can take his boys home and say, look, we had a cool draft, we tried it, it didn't work. Let's prepare for DRX. I think if they fail there, that's when the alarm bells start going off. But I don't think they will.
No, I don't think so either. And so hopefully that can be the reset for the Kwangdong Freaks. But now it is time for us to throw it over to the space to break down the GENG victory.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POG interview translation, joined by Canyon and Keen on the side of GENG, who continue their undefeated run with a 2-0 against Kwangdong Freaks. It looks like the Anima Squad headband looks very, very good on these 2 players. A lot of fans have been looking forward to and have been highly requesting for these headbands. to be worn by the players. So how do you like them, Canyon? Yeah, I like them. And Keen, we heard that you did a special challenge with QWER. You know, honestly, I didn't really do much. So yeah, well, we're still looking forward to it. So you guys are on a 7 winning streak in the LCK. How do you feel, Canyon? Being able to continue our winning streak is very good, and I want to keep continuing our win streak. And Keen, how about you? Yeah, it was a clean 2-0. Makes me happy, and I want to be sure that we do well in the next upcoming match. What a great performance by you guys against Gwangdong Freaks. And in both games 1 and 2, you guys picked champions with late game value, yet took control from the laning phase. So how did you pull this off? Honestly, I wasn't a big part of it. It's just all the solo laners who did really well that made the game so easy. And I think that's what allowed the whole team to scale, and then we were able to close out the game. And Keen, he's giving you guys credit, so how do you feel? Honestly, thanks to Canyon ganking my lane, I think it just went very, very smoothly. And Canyon, in both games 1 and 2, the enemy banned your AP jungler champions. But with your Sejuani left open for you, you took another POG with her. So why do you think they opened Sejuani for you twice? I feel like maybe the enemy thought that they had thought that it's winnable with the Sejuani open. That's probably why they left it open. And Keen, in game 2, the opponent took out LCK's first mid Zeri paired with Ivern. So was this expected? Yeah, when we saw the Zeri pick, I've actually seen Bulldog play Zeri mid in solo queue, and I think Chovy did really well against him. So what was the team's impression on this? Honestly, it's just really up to Chovy and how he plays the laning phase, so we just had faith in him. And so in today's draft phase, the opponent quickly took Renekton, so what is the team's impression on this pick? Renekton is pretty high up on the tier list, and so we did have expect that this would be a possible pick that we see today, so I think we did a good job dealing with him. And in game 2, we saw that Renekton pick get focused down by Canyon, and we saw him getting dove over and over again. So was this your call? Were you trying to shot call for this? Honestly, I can't really remember, but I think whenever we saw an angle, we just called each other, and we were pretty confident in the dive. And Canyon, so can you walk us through the strategy here? About the dive, this time around, I think we were just communicating. I think we probably called for each other once each time, taking turn. And in game 2 today was Chovy's 600th game. So anything you would like to say to Chovy, Canyon? I think we congratulated Keen on his milestone last time. Honestly, I hope that you continue reaching 700 to 1,000 games. Congratulations. And Keen, I feel like every time we're up here, we have something to celebrate. And it just makes me feel like I have so much experience, and all of us are such veterans at this point. And your next match will be the Saturday Showdown against D plus Kia. Did you guys happen to hear Showmaker and Kellen from the interviews? Yes, we have. So we heard, coming to K-Word you, and Canyon, you're next. So what is your response? I don't know why you guys are threatening me when I'm just sitting here being myself, but I hope we have a good game, you guys. And King, anything you like to say to your close friend Aiming? You know, Aiming, I have noticed how happy you are lately. I want to crush your hopes and dreams. And that's the end of the interview from Canyon and Keen, and back to the space. Thank you.